Hello everyone, this is Bentley from Kent, Washington, and today we're going to do an easy how-to basics on brine shrimp. So this is easily the best food source for young fish, rainbow fish, guppies, anything. Any of your small baby fish, this is easily the best source. And it's really simple. All you need is a simple desk lamp like this. Dirt cheap, you can get these for like $10, $15 at a Target or something. Some kind of container. I use these specific hatcheries, which I'll put a link in the description of the exact one I use just for reference. Here's an empty one. You can see the shell, and then it has two screw-on top pieces, the top and the bottom. The bottom has a little valve that you can turn on and off for flow, which I'm doing this one-handed, so you'll have to forgive me, but you can see it here. There's a little valve, and I'll even show you how it actuates. So when it's in this position, in this particular hatchery, it's on. Which means that airflow or water flow can occur. And in the other position, it is off. And then there's a top which will be vented. Brine shrimp are super simple. You just need salt water, brine shrimp eggs, light, and a little bit of warmth, and air. The little lamp can do both. So you see how close I keep it to that hatchery. This actually keeps the hatchery probably about 78 to 80 degrees. So very similar to tropical temperatures. And then I just use a little 1 liter, as you see, 1 liter soda bottle here. I mix my salt water in that, and that's 1 liter of water to 1 2/3 tablespoons of marine salt. I will actually link to Amazon specifically the salt I use. It's the same kind of salt you would use for mixing saltwater fish tanks if you were doing it manually. And then all you need is air, and you can see when you're getting ready to harvest, you turn the air off, and you're gonna let it sit for a while. Usually about 5 to 10 minutes, let it settle. One thing you can do is angle the light further down. As we zoom in, you can just see how many of them are swimming around, and there's shells in here too from the brine shrimp that are going to float to the top. Now, I kind of goofed and didn't film the first harvesting. I can harvest typically twice from this using a turkey baster. So here can go, I let it settle some more. You see all the shells are floating up top, they're much lighter, and then the rest of the actual brine are down low. And as I lower the light to make it a little easier, you can see that water's a little cloudy. That's normal when it's done doing all the hatching. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a turkey baster, I'm gonna put it inside the tube, I'm gonna go down to the bottom, and I'm gonna harvest all of that brine shrimp out with a little bit of the water. As long as you're not with some insanely sensitive fish that can't handle salt, you can do it like this. Now, if they can't handle salt, what you would do is you would harvest all the shrimp, then you would get a very fine net, like a brine shrimp net. You would pour into the brine shrimp net so that all the brine shrimp stay in there and the water goes into another vessel. And then you would move all the brine shrimp to fresh water, fresh, clean, whether it's aquarium water or dechlorinated tap water, whatever. Either is fine, and then you would start harvesting from there. So like I harvest here, I put them in these little containers left over from tissue culture plants. Sorry for my mess here, I've been doing some maintenance. So I'll pour it all into this. And then you can see a little bit of the dried shells on the edge of my turkey baster. And then I'll pick up one of these little 3 milliliter pipettes. I'll pull a little bit out. You can see some of it in there. And then I'll just direct feed it, depending on the number of fish. So like this tank has a few guppies and then the plecos, so they just get one little shot. Wash your container out. Never reuse your water. So here it is, I fresh washed this container. I hook it up on this little hook here. I'm gonna put a small amount of my pre-mixed salt water in. What I like to do is mix about 3 liters at a time. And then that way I'll have 1 liter I'm using, and 2 can sit and dechlorinate for a couple of days. I'll put the chlorinator in it, but let them sit and let it really work for a few days before I ever need to use it. Put a small amount of water in the tube, then add your brine shrimp. Some will stick to the side. So here we go, just big scoop of brine shrimp. I had to cut there because I had to open the bag, I'll be honest with you. This is a ½ tablespoon for each one of these, and this container uses about 1/3 of a liter, so it's actually a little dense, but that's good because it means your feedings will be nice and dense. Pour the rest of the water up. You don't want to go all the way to the top. You want to leave some room because the air is going to move the water and you'll have spillage if you go all the way to the top. But I'll show you, I pour it right up until it gets to the kind of outward bevel that starts to occur. So right toward the top of the little clip there. And sometimes I'll leave it lower if I'm not really worried. The water level doesn't matter a ton, just not too much. Turn on your air. And I was trying to do this one-handed. I had to reconnect my tube because I was cleaning it. And honestly, like I'm kind of fumbling around, so this is gonna look a little weird for a sec, but you reconnect your air, get your air moving. Really, brine shrimp is super easy. And I'll put links down below of all the stuff I use. That way you guys can do it at home. I actually really like these containers because they make small batches, and small batches are really good. Most of the brine shrimp hatcheries out there, you're either using like a 2-liter pop bottle or something like that, and that makes a really big batch, and it's really hard to feed that much brine. And you really, once you've finished hatching them, they're only alive for a little bit of time. Now, as it's set up like this takes 24 to 36 hours to hatch. In 24, I have a good amount. In 36, I have a really good amount. It just depends on how many fish I'm feeding. Very simple, guys. I hope that helps you out. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and stay awesome.